Hello and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Thank you so much for listening, downloading, sharing the show. I truly appreciate it. I just love how people are continuing to love and enjoy the show. And if you do love and enjoy the show, and if you are able to leave a 5-star review or to just leave some sort of uplifting comment or interesting description of the show from your point of view on whatever podcast platform you listen to the show, I would greatly appreciate it. That would just help bring more people into listening to the show and give me the opportunity to help even more people. So if you were able to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you wanted to come by and just chat with me and connect with me on Instagram, I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo, or you're welcome to send me an email as well. All of that information is in the description box, along with all the notes for the show. But again, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you downloading and sharing the show. So let's get right into the episode. Thanks so much, guys. Happy Wednesday, everyone, and thank you for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. This week we are talking about cognitive distortions, and today, Wednesday, we're going to be specifically talking about mind reading. And before we get to that, I want to remind you about the 5-minute reset, which allows you to take at least 5 minutes to be by yourself, to reset, reboot, restart your day right then and there. It allows you to draw a line in the sand and allow yourself to move on from any stressors and just feelings of overwhelm and anything causing you any trouble early in your day and start fresh right there. And during your 5-minute reset, you are able to take a break from any issues or burdens that are causing you trouble, that are holding you down, that are a real genuine problem. And you can also take some time to come up with any resolutions or problems that you are dealing with, whether on your own or by yourself. And I always suggest everyone come up with a list of at least 4 things that you are grateful for, big, small, or medium size. And you can be grateful for literally anything. The list is endless. You can be grateful for finally having some time to watch your favorite show with your friend. You can be grateful for being able to help a friend out and really help them with some chores or some sort of task or, around the house or whatever they need. You can be grateful for being able to talk on the phone with your family, with your mom, your dad, your friends, whomever you needed to catch up with. You can be grateful for those moments, or you can be grateful that you finally were able to just let some emotion go, to cry, to let it out, to really just release any pent-up emotions that you've been keeping in because of stress, anxiety, or whatever situation you're in. You can literally be grateful for anything. And then last but not least, make sure that you're feeling at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of your day, because hopefully reflecting on things that you're grateful for and our blessings in your life will help you kind of shift your mindset and attitude to being more positive. And also remember that by focusing in on more positive things, it'll help you get through any negative times that you may be experiencing. But like I said, today we are talking about mind reading, and this is the one that I have been looking forward to talking about the most because it's the one I struggle with the most, me personally. And it's the one that I feel like I've practiced the longest because I am a people pleaser, because I am a perfectionist and, recovering in both of those things. But I definitely struggle with those things, and mind reading is definitely at the at the height of one of my problems and main cognitive distortions. So mind reading is believing you know what someone is thinking without having enough information to actually know that. And again, I would lump this in with assumptions. And if you listened yesterday, I was talking about how overgeneralizing can be compared to assumptions, because you're thinking that since one thing happened, you're assuming that since one thing happened, it's going to continue to happen. Or if there is a small pattern of things happening to you, then that's just going to continue to be the pattern that you like, this pattern that you keep like holding in, that you cannot shake, that you cannot escape from. And that's just not true. So, but I would also lump mind reading in with assumptions, because you're assuming that you know what that person is thinking. You're assuming you know the reaction that's going on inside their heart and their mind, when there's no possible way for you to actually know that without them telling you, right? And regardless of if you think, well, no, like they're telling me one thing, but I think they're thinking another thing. Even if they do lie to you, even if they do mislead you and try to convince you that uh, they're telling the truth, and then you find out later they're not, that doesn't make you right. It doesn't make you like a victor in mind reading. It just means that you ended up being right in that situation, and that's not always going to happen. And you have to give people grace, and you have to give people kindness, and whatever decision that they made that they think that they need to lie or kind of conceal the truth, that's on them. But there's no way for you to know unless someone actually tells you. So, mind reading is a dangerous cognitive distortion because it allows you to believe things that are generally not true, create a story in your mind, and go on a spiral in your mind. And it's so easy. It's literally like getting on a slide, and you just go so fast into the spiral of thoughts and feelings that you could have, and you could just like take one like situation where it just looks bad and then spiral your way out of control into deeper, darker thoughts that can really have a grip on you, and you can find it hard to tear away from those. And yeah, it's just, it's so deceiving. An example of a mind reading, if you still don't like understand what I'm talking about, is you would be seeing a friend while you're out. Like maybe you're at the store or you're walking like downtown or wherever you are. You see a friend of yours, but they don't see you. And it's not necessarily that they're like you see that they actually are dodging you, or you think that they saw you but they didn't. That thing where you're looking dead at someone in their eyes across from you, and you think they see you but they don't, because they might be looking in your direction but they're not really looking at you. Their eyes aren't focused on you, but it looks like it because they're from far away. You get what I'm saying? That kind of situation. But they don't see you, and you take that as them ignoring you on purpose. They are like dissing you, they are pushing to the side, they are definitely dodging you. That's what you're thinking. And this can spiral into thinking they're upset with you, they don't want to be your friend any longer, and continue from there. Like I said, it's like getting on a slide. You are about to just go down into a spiral of crazy thoughts, and it's absolutely unnecessary, because you're assuming you're just taking one interaction where you don't even know the whole extent of it. And let me add on that if they were dodging you on purpose, maybe there's a reason. I'm gonna fully admit and be transparent with you guys, since I am talking about authenticity a lot this month, on my Instagram and here, that there have been times where I have seen someone that I know and that I like and I enjoy, and that we have an acquaintance or even like a friendship, and I will dodge them on purpose because I have incredible social anxiety. And sometimes if I'm having a hard day, or if I am just struggling with my own personal thoughts, or if I just feel super anxious, I will not approach them. I will pretend like I didn't see them, because I don't want to have to push through so many hard emotions when I am not even in the right mind to have dealt with all of them at that moment. So maybe that's what happened. There are so many things that could have happened for the reason why someone did not acknowledge you. But think again, but also, did you acknowledge them? Like just in this very specific example that I'm giving, but it's going to apply to many examples. Did you actually reach out to them? Did you actually say hi, or were you just expecting them to say hi to you? Because you think that they saw you. You see how you can just like easily twist the story? It's just like, let's say you're going to go on a job interview, and you go and um, you finish up and you feel good about it, but they don't call you. And you think, wow, they didn't call me because they think I'm terrible for the job, and I bombed that interview and it just went horribly in there, and I'm never going to get a job, and I'm never going to be able to do the thing that I've been dreaming about doing for so long, or went to school for, whatever the case is. and you don't even know why they didn't call you. Like, the reason could be that they actually found someone that was more qualified, and that's fine. Or, maybe it didn't go well, but maybe it's just because your personalities just don't jive. They didn't gel, and that's okay too. Not everyone's going to like you. And or maybe the reason is that they are going to call you, but they just take a lot more time to vet people, to really push them through the interview process and to really look up your references and this, that, and the other. You don't know, right? You don't know. And a lot of times with mind reading, you don't give it enough time to actually see the whole thing through. You just jump right into an assumption and a prediction, and then take that for a ride, really, which is the wrong way to go. So you see how thinking you know how someone is feeling can really send you on a mental journey that will mislead you and cause you to be all turned around in your head. Also, it can ruin relationships if you opt for mind reading instead of proper communication. So, this has happened many times in the beginning of my marriage, where I will assume I know how my husband's feeling because of a certain look that's on his face. It happened very often. We had to talk about it in therapy, and he had to become more, better at communication and letting me know, hey, I might have a pissy look on my face, but it doesn't mean that I'm mad at you or that you did anything wrong. I'm just in a mood. And that's proper communication, right? As opposed to in the beginning, he'd be all upset and angry, and I would always assume that it was because something I did or I didn't do, and that I'm a terrible wife, and that I am not, or that he's going to want to leave me, and he thinks all these terrible things about me, and I just continue to spiral, which only just fed my people pleaser and perfectionist personality, because I wanted to continue to be the thing that he wanted, the thing that I thought that he needed, when I didn't actually ask him and be like, what did I do? Or did I do something? Or anything like that. And even when I did, he would say no, and I would assume that he's lying to me and that he just didn't want to hurt my feelings, but my feelings are already hurt. Do you see how crazy that sounds? And I don't mean crazy in a bad way, but do you see? It just like you get all wrapped up in it. You make up this story in your mind that's not true. And like I said, even if it is true, you don't know it's true at the time. You really don't. You really don't. So never hang your hat on like, well, it could be true or it's happened before. Maybe history will repeat itself or maybe it won't. And you have to continue to have faith and confidence that things are going to get better. And you have to have faith in people that and give them grace, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what actually they're feeling and what's going on in their mind. You can't see it. You can't read it. And so before you go and ruin relationships, whether it be friends, family, partners, spouses, don't do it. Just be more upfront. And those conversations will be uncomfortable at first if you're not used to having them. But the more and more you do it, the easier it'll become, and it'll just become second nature. Like with my husband and I, it's second nature. I'll literally be like, you know what? I'm just in a bad mood today. It's not you. It's not my daughter. It's not the dog or the cat. I am just in a bad mood. It's fine. I still love you so much. Please don't take anything I say as anything directed at you. And then I will reiterate that again if something happens and they kind of do feel like they're at fault. And those are the conversations and communications that will help you save relationships, but still be able to deal with your emotions, still be able to have real life and just have bad days, but know that the other person, you're saving that other person from any possible mind reading. And it's fair to mention that a tiny bit of mind reading can be appropriate, but I mean like the most minuscule of mind reading. If you are pairing it with general social cues and reactions from people, it has to be together. It can't just be separate. Because like I said, you can't read someone's mind, you just can't. And you might think you can because based on history and what someone likes, but mind reading is what I've been talking about this whole time, not just like knowing that when you go to a restaurant, this person's going to order this meal or this soda or this drink or whatever, or do this thing, because those are just interactions that are habitual to people. That's not like you truly mind reading. Mind reading would be like, oh no, I made this gesture and now they hate me and now they're upset. Look how upset they are. They're not talking. And it could be for 20 different other reasons. So you have to understand that. But yeah, it's fair that a little bit of mind reading can be appropriate when paired with general social cues and people's reactions, like telling someone something they weren't expecting to hear and thinking they are surprised if their reaction shows that. So you're like, "Oh my gosh, guess what? I got into college, or I got this really cool job." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." And they're surprised. But you know they're surprised because they have given you that reaction and they have given you the cue of like, "Wow," as opposed to being like, "Oh," you know, like then not them being like, "Great." And it being like a more toned down, it might lead you to believe and go into the wrong type of mind reading, which would be like, wow, they're not happy for me at all. They're actually jealous. They're actually upset. They're like a myriad of emotions. So it's one thing to be like, you can see it on their face and they are presenting with reactions like that. And even then, you still have to be careful because, like I mentioned about people being in bad moods and you thinking it's because of you, but if you were just upfront and being like, hey, can I do something for you? Or is it something I did to you? And they'd say no, and it's fine, right? You can just have you can just have a conversation about it. And again, it will be hard at the beginning, but it'll get easier the more that you do it. So I want to wrap this up by sharing with you some tips on how to work through practicing mind reading less and less, because it's not going to be something that you're just going to automatically stop. That's like with anything. I feel like very few things in life are cold turkey. And if you are able to do a lot of things that are tough with cold turkey, bravo to you. Like, I truly mean that. That's amazing. I've tried to do many things cold turkey and it just doesn't work out. So I encourage you to just take it a little by little and know that a little progress along a long journey will make a difference. So I just have 3 tips for you. Oh, 4. Sorry, I have 4. So the first one is to acknowledge the thoughts and predictions you are having about the situation. Really let those thoughts out and examine what those actually mean to you. So if you are, let's see, what kind of example should we use? Let's just use the one about your friend. You're seeing your friend at the store. You said you saw your friend at the store and they didn't see you and they didn't say hi to you and they walk right past you. And you're like, oh my gosh, they're upset at me. They're really mad and they don't like me anymore. Okay. Well, admit that those are the predictions that you have. Like, what does that actually mean? You think that because of one experience in one event where they didn't speak to you, or you feel like they saw you and dodged you, that your whole friendship or your whole relationship is over just from one single thing without anything else playing into it. And you're going to make up stories in your mind of things that will play into it. You're going to be like, oh, it's because I said this last week or I did that yesterday or whatever. But if it's not all going to carry through and it's all not going to make sense. You're going to make sense of it in your mind, but it's not going to truly make sense. That's why you have to let it out. That's why you have to actually say it out loud and be like, is this for real? Like, this is truly what I think. This is actually what I'm predicting. And then step 2 is weighing the costs and benefits can really help you determine if this prediction is beneficial. So, cost benefit analysis in finances, you wouldn't probably think that it's going to apply to a mental health kind of topic or tips, but it is in this case. It's a really easy way to think about it. So, and it's a lot of it's like one of the most common ways people use as a tip to work through mind reading. So, first, or not first, you can do it in either order. So, you're going to examine the cost of what you could lose with believing this prediction. So, what is it going to cost you? Is it going to cost you like your friendship, or is it going to cost you more anxiety and stress and depression and confusion, right? And time wasted really thinking about this prediction. And what benefits could there be to having this prediction? So are you in this, is this friend of yours that you saw at the store that you feel like is dodging you? Is it a new friendship? Is you having this prediction protecting you from getting hurt or being rejected by a new person because you just can't deal with that? Or is the benefit for you to just really not have to deal with this person anymore? You're just you're creating the prediction that they're dodging you, and you're secretly actually happy about this because they've been a weight on you and you don't really want their friendship anymore. So it's an easy out for you. It's an easy excuse for you to use to disengage from this friendship, and you're happy that they gave that to you. Now, that might be really hard to hear for some people. It really might, but it's true. That might be your excuse. So you have to really examine what your costs are, examine what your benefits are, and really weigh those. Like, is feeding into this prediction and believing it really worth you possibly causing issues in this relationship, in this friendship? Is it really worth the extra stress and anxiety you might continue to have if you are someone that worries a lot and, is obsessive in their thoughts and feelings and fears of people disengaging from them, being abandoned, or being hurt? Is it really worth that? Is it really worth that to really protect yourself from possibly maybe getting hurt again? Or is it worth it because you really didn't want to be friends with this person anyway, because of all the things I said too, but also because you're just done, but you weren't able to actually admit that to yourself? So weigh the costs and the benefits, and then we'll come up with them and then weigh them against each other to kind of really decide, is this prediction worth it? And number 3 is to find the evidence that will back up your prediction. So you're creating a prediction. It's an assumption. You don't know if it's true. You think it's true. Your mind's telling you it's true, but you don't know. You don't actually know. You need evidence, hard evidence. So ask yourself what you actually know to be true, for facts, actual cold, hard facts. Ask yourself, is this thought out of character for the person you are placing it on? So is your friend normally someone that dodges you? Is there actual critical facts to why they would dodge you? Have you had some sort of fight or disagreement recently? Or, did they recently contact you and there was kind of a misunderstanding? What evidence do you have that they actually were dodging you? Did they tell you? Did someone else tell you? Did they actually look you in the eye and wave and then run away as they're leaving the store? You have to come up with real evidence. If you don't have any real evidence, how can it be true? How? Ask yourself, how? I know. You're like, oh, I just know. That's not evidence. Just knowing something doesn't mean it's fact. It's like an opinion. Everyone has one. Doesn't make it fact, okay? I feel like this is the most important one. You have to find the evidence. And I think that's the one that actually helps me to really ground myself and be like, okay, wake up, Sabrina. This is not what I think it is. And again, even if it is, you don't know. You don't actually know that. So, and then number 4, and just so you know, there are tons more tips on how to combat mind reading. Please look them up on the internet. It will help you if you need more. But the last one that I'm going to share with you is to test your prediction. So you might not like this one. I feel like number 3 was really the best one. If you have no evidence, you need to move on. But if you just can't get on board with that, or you feel like you have evidence, you feel like you actually do, okay, test your prediction. This will involve confidence, and you will have to reach out to the person your prediction falls on. You'll have to be like, okay, I'm going to call Sally because I feel like she dodged me when she was leaving the Target as I was in the store or coming in or whatever. And I feel like she just, she tried to duck out, try to avoid me. I have to call her and be like, hey, I saw you leaving the Target or whatever store place as I was getting there. And I thought you saw me, but I didn't get to say hi to you because I thought you saw me, but you didn't because you were leaving. And I just wanted to say, hey, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. It's going to feel uncomfortable. Everything that you do for the first time can be really uncomfortable. It really can. And that's just life, though. So understand that this is another thing you have to get more comfortable with, but you have to have the confidence and the gumption to approach them and be like, hey, I thought this happened, but I just wanted to make sure so that I didn't get carried away with the little story that I was creating in my mind. If you cannot do that because you're afraid and you can't get over that fear yet, it's fine. Lacking the confidence to do that, you're not going to like this, but the only other option is you will have to have faith. Your mind is playing tricks on you and wait it out. So if you aren't able to call or text Sally and be like, "Hey girl, I saw you leaving Target so quickly and I thought you saw me, but I guess you didn't, and I just wanted to say hey and catch up with you." You're just going to have to wait until you see her next or talk to her next. And then see if there's any friction or problems. Or then be like, "Hey, I think I saw you at Target last week. Were you there? I thought I saw you, but we didn't get to chat." And then they'll confirm or deny. And if you feel like they're confirming but coming up with a really long story, or if they do indicate that they saw you and didn't say anything, and then you can go from there. Then you can really play it out. But that's going to take longer because you're not just like nipping it in the bud right there and then. You are having to wait it out. And that's fine too. But it could be harder that way. But it will help your confidence grow and your faith grow that your mind isn't always right. Everything that comes in and is turned around in your mind and inputted doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's correct, doesn't mean it's beneficial to who you are. You don't have to believe everything that's happening in your mind. There's so much input from the outside world that it's not all going to be gospel truth for sure. So, but yeah, and that's all I will say about mind reading. The biggest thing is you have to find evidence, and you have to realize that if you continue in the pattern of mind reading, you will fall down a spiral of stress, anxiety, depression, sadness, loneliness, and social anxiety. And I feel like one of the biggest reasons why I have social anxiety is because of my mind reading. It's because I go into a social situation and then the faces and even some of the regular social cues cause me to get in this spiral in my mind and create these stories. And it forces me to talk to less and less people and go to less and less events. Be a lot more and more awkward. And it's a problem. And those things are hard to get from up under. So I encourage you to really try to push back on your mind reading and realize that you don't know unless you have evidence or they told you. And even if they told you something that you don't think is true, that is not for you to decide. I mean, you can disengage with that person and decide that you are no longer going to have a relationship with them because of this, but you can't just be like, "Oh no, I can still continue to spiral in my mind because I don't think what they're saying is true." It's not helpful. So, okay, well, that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Remember, check the description box for notes for this show, where to find me on Instagram, which is at SabrinaJoyPerozzo. Send me an email for any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, or just to say hey, hi, and hello to me. I appreciate you guys sharing, downloading, listening to the show. I love it so much. I love helping you guys. I love providing this content for you. Just an announcement. Next week I will be on vacation, and I'm going to try to add this into the next couple of episodes so you're not alerted. But I have made the hard decision to not post next week. I'm going on a vacation for 10 days, and I'm not going to post next week, but there are going to be episodes a week after that, because the week after that comes with the anniversary of the show starting a year ago. But I just don't have the bandwidth, unfortunately, to record 2 whole weeks of the show in preparation for the vacation. Because as some of you may know, I have a full-time job, and I'm a mom and a wife, and I unfortunately don't have the time to do that many episodes in bulk ahead of time. Hopefully one day I will, which will be great, but I don't. So again, no new episodes next week, except for there'll probably be one bonus episode for the authenticity challenge, because that's just a couple minutes, and I might even upload it record it and upload it while I'm on vacation. But yeah, no full-blown episodes. So And I think I'm going to, I'll leave that as a surprise. We'll come back to that. So thank you so much for listening. Come back tomorrow when we're talking about the next cognitive distortion, which is personalization. But until then, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.